Okay, in today's Desert Pencil webinar, we had a guest speaker. His name is Roger. He's one of our members, and Roger is a practicing attorney in Nevada. So the format that we use for guest speakers on the Desert Pencil webinar is what I call the three questions, which are obviously three questions. And I give these questions to the speakers before they come on the broadcast, so they have a chance to rehearse and kind of know what they're talking about, just to keep it more interesting, keep it moving for everybody. And at the end, we have a chance for audience members to participate and ask their questions of the guest speakers. So another great reason to join the Desert Pencil Society. But anyway, here's today's Desert Pencil webinar. I hope you like it.
I used to say talk to three attorneys and go with the one that you feel right, trust your instincts. And that's really, at the end of the day, I mean, that's a good piece of advice for life is trust your instincts. Because if you just feel like you meet one attorney and, it can get expensive. So, I mean, depending upon the area of law, sometimes you charge consultation fees and you'd be sort of driven to want to hire maybe the first attorney and not have to pay more consultation fees. And if an attorney is like me, who actually has a sales background and can close and is persuasive, but it's very rare that clients walked out the door after meeting me and didn't hire me. And they made smart decisions. And I know that sounds self-serving, but the reality is they should talk to multiple people. And I was one of those kind of attorneys that didn't chase money. It's a rare thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There are many clients who I did not allow them to hire me. I could just tell this is going to be more problem than I want. It's a little bit out of my ken of areas of expertise where I see this case is going. I just didn't like the client. There could be a variety of reasons why I wouldn't let a client hire me, but that's my best piece of advice. Talk to more than one attorney.
Okay. So I want to just dig a little bit deeper in that. I have a couple of
Sure.
sub questions. So I live in well, I shouldn't say I live there right now because I don't, but I did. And I listen pretty regularly to Seattle metro area media, especially the radio. And we hear all the time advertising for personal injury attorneys. Okay. It's very, very common. And at least I know, and I don't know how many of the audience know, but they generally work on contingency fees. And the general talking point is they get a third of a settlement. What do you think about using that as one's guidepost to hiring, or just referral, or just cruising around on the internet?
Well, attorney advertising is simply marketing. There's no correlation between advertising and how much money a law firm might spend on advertising and how good of a lawyer you get. I mean, there's no correlation at all. As a matter of fact, I'll give you two quick examples. There's an attorney that I know, and I'm not going to say which jurisdiction he's in. They're cut out half the genders there, right there. So, advertises heavily, extensively, television, billboards, everything. I happen to know he's a horrible attorney. And if the case is really going to go to trial, he actually has a good trial attorney who's not under his firm, a entirely separate trial attorney that he dishes the work off to, if it's going to have to be involved with the real practice of law, and as opposed to the business of law. Another case that I was involved in, um, I kind of asked around. I can't remember how I got a hold of this guy's name, but I think it was because not a jurisdiction that I was familiar with. It was out of town, and I think I had a friend who knew a judge and opened the door for me to talk to the judge. And I asked the judge, who is the best civil personal injury attorney in this community? And I got a name right out of the gate. Said, hey, talk to this guy. This guy's head and shoulders above the rest. Now, I was fortunate. I had a bit of an in, but we ended up hiring him, and he was fantastic. He was a very good professional, awesome attorney, knew newest stuff, really got a great result. Couldn't have been happier.
Is that a conflict of interest for a judge to answer a question like that?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
Yeah, I'm going to say he just answered. That's okay. All right, let's go to the next question.
Let's say I had an in, Joe. I had an
yeah,
in.
No, that's okay.
And then that's what I'm saying. If everyone, well, here and this is a good thing. I think Joe realizes it. He's utilizing me, and I can tell you, um, if you have a friend who's an attorney, keep that friend, foster that friendship, flourish that friendship, because real estate agents are dime a dozen, but a good friend who's an attorney is a good thing to have. And my best friend up here is a doctor, a very, very good doctor. And having a doctor as a friend is a really, really good thing to have.
It is. I completely agree. Okay, let's go to the set question. Okay. And I don't know, I want to bring up this question because I don't know how many of everybody who's joined us today knows about this. But what I'd like you to do, Roger, is to tell us a little about what it means when we talk about the adversarial nature of the law.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to speak to the previous point real quickly, then I'll go to that. My reason for talking about having a good friend as an attorney who's a good practicing attorney is that's your tap, that's your in, that's your resource. They may not be the best person, but attorneys know each other. Mm-hmm. So they know, like for instance, if you got a friend and he's a criminal defense attorney, and that's fine, foster that friendship and stuff like that. When you need let's say a probate lawyer, okay, he or she won't know. He might not know, or he might know. I used to know the best probate lawyer in the area or to someone to refer you to, but he'll know who to call to find out who's the good ones and who's the bad ones. Us attorneys were in like a little club. So if we don't know the answer, we can find out the answer. So that's why I was emphasizing have a good friend as an attorney. Now, adversarial. This is kind of a relatively straightforward. This harkens back to the law has evolved from Old England. Every state let me put it to you this way. Most of the states in the United States, the law is based on Old English common law. Almost 40 of them, or a little less. Some of you are aware, I don't know if most of you live in Washington State. States out in the West, Washington, California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and you can see the common thread there. They're based on Spanish common law. And that's why they're called community property states in divorce situations. And then there's one outlier, that's Louisiana. Louisiana is based on French common law. So the law has evolved from those things. Old English common law, and our law is rooted in this system that the best way to get to truth is to drill down in this adversarial model. You have so the adversarial model is based upon um, a set of rules for procedure, a set of rules for evidence, a way to navigate through the system that's all structured. And you get to the point where two attorneys at the end of the day fight it out, and through that adversarial conflict, it draws out the truth. The truth is tested through that adversarial conflict. Um, there's a variety of TV shows I could suggest that help highlight that, but that's what the law is based on that. Now, I can tell you that is a horribly going to trial, whether it's a civil or criminal context, is a horribly well, horrible is a hard word, but pretty hard. um, Time consuming, difficult, expensive way to resolve disputes. Hence the growth of what's called ADR, alternative dispute resolution, which I do. I have a background in that. I do that. Arbitration, mediation, collaborative law. There's all kinds of coaching. There's all kinds of ways of doing alternative dispute resolution. And that has become very popular because litigation is just a horrible way, a horribly expensive way to get to the truth. But I'll be honest with you, there's no better way to get to the truth. And when here's what I often used to say to people: there would be no such need for lawyers and no such need for courts if everybody did right by other people, everybody told the truth, nobody lied, and nobody stole from anybody else, and nobody hurt anybody else. There'd be no reason for the law or the courts. But we don't live in such a world.
We do not. I'm going to ask you a quick follow up to that question as well. I'm going to kind of borrow from question number one about hiring. So if I'm in an adversarial situation, and they're, well, the backdrop is trial, whether we go or not. As a consumer of legal services, should I be looking for someone who's a better fighter or a better deal maker?
Well, I would say for 90% of the law or 85% of the law, when you're talking about litigation, understand that law is kind of divided into two boxes: transactional law and litigation. Transactional law, like banking lawyers and this and that, they
I'm
make a
talking
lot of,
about litigation.
they're talking about litigation. Um, yeah, a really good attorney is good at both. I'm honestly blessed to have been both a cop and a real estate salesperson before I ever became a lawyer. The sales training that I got through real estate, and I did it all. As far as sales training goes, except for CCIM. um, I mean, I just ate it up, and because I felt you could never not learn enough. That made me the combination of the experience of selling real estate, what I learned in sales training, the psychology associated with sales, um, I believe made me a much better lawyer. So you want somebody, a good lawyer can do both really well.
Okay.
Well, let me put it another way. As I know lawyers that are great deal makers, horrible litigators. They don't get the deals they can get because they're bad litigators, and people know that. They're not, they You know what I'm saying? You have to have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to take you to trial and I'm going to hand it to you. And that gives a lawyer leverage. Lawyers who are talented and good and hardworking and ethical, um, they can negotiate better deals than lawyers that don't have good reputations or are known to be patsies in the courtroom and that kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, let's go to question number three. Another talking point in the law, as you all know, is what's called zealous representation. So, talk to us for a minute about what zealous representation is from an attorney point of view.
Well, do you want the general rule, or do you want my definition?
I want the general, and then I want, and you can drill into your own, but
Okay.
educate us as to
Well,
what that generally means.
zealous representation means, and there's going to be a blend here between the two, but zealous representation means that not necessarily the synonym isn't aggressive. Zealous representation, well, you see, this is hard for me to lose for my own definition. Zealous representation means um, hardworking, competent. Oh, let me give you a case in point, and it's very real world for me right now. I'm semi-retired, and I'm taking things called conflicts cases, criminal defense cases. I don't take very many. I can pick and choose. Um, I'm in a place in my life that I have that luxury to say I don't have to do this to make a living. I don't have to I don't have to take one case to make a living. I'm doing this so that my wife would stop yelling at me to get out of the house. So, anyways, long story short, I can work my cases and I'm getting good results. Um, I happen to know that some of my contemporaries who are some public defenders, they have caseloads of 100, 150, upwards of 200 clients a year. They can't give zealous representation simply because there's only so many hours in a day. And the law is uniquely situated where I've right now only got 11 clients over a dozen cases, and I don't want any more. Every single case I can work on, I can I can get off this webinar, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I can work on these cases, and I can work on a case and work it and work it and work it and work it. There's never anything about any particular legal case that more work can't be done on. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. I can I can work a case to death, or I can give it no work at all. And I think you get what you know. It's a sad thing, but the law is a get what you pay for thing.
Well, I think
Uh,
it's true for a lot of personal services. One of the things that I've learned to ask people that work, and you guys know I work in, or I'm a client in the financial industries, but one of the things I've started to ask is, how many clients do you have? Because they've done studies in financial services. I'm assuming they have in the law, I don't know, but studies have been done where efficiencies start to decrease when those people in those jobs have over about 150 clients. That's about the load that they can handle. Well, I've met guys that have 250 clients that make a lot more money, but they don't provide adequate service. So that happens. Okay, let's get to the bonus question. Here we go. What is one piece of advice that you would give someone under the age of 25?
the one the in an entire lifetime of living, I can honestly say this is the number one piece of advice that I think I could give to someone under 25 that would be the best piece of advice they could ever get. And before I say it, I'm going to tell you that it's been my experience that it's never taken, it goes right over their head. And that applies to me too. Listen to your elders. There are people that have gone down the paths. like this, I'm talking to a 25-year-old now. There are people that have gone down the paths that you're seeking in whatever you're doing. There's people that know more, have done things, but the most important thing is they've lived life longer, and they know. They've learned, they've paid the price with their mistakes and stuff like that. And um, the best thing a young person wanting to achieve things, the best thing that they could possibly do is find somebody who's accomplished exactly what they want to accomplish in whatever field or whatever area or whatever endeavor that they want. Find that person and somehow convince that person to be their mentor, and then listen and do everything they say. And you know what? Young people don't do it. They just, and I was that way too. When I was young, I thought I was smarter than everybody around me, but I was a dumbass. And I've got the scars on my face for the face plants that I've done in my life, and the road rash in my back and on my knees from crashing and burning, and that's the journey of life. The journey of life is to live life, experience life, fall down 7 times, get up 8 if you're going to want to be successful. And people, and this the funny thing is, I'm going to turn 64 this year, and I know there's some 80-year-olds, and I'm just like, I listen to them, and I'm like, but they got 20 years on me. They got to know stuff that I don't know. But it's just that's the best piece of advice a young person could hear and take. But I don't think young people take that. I don't get it. They don't get it.
Well, it's relative. I mean, I'm older than you. I guess you have to listen to me too, right?
I'm not sure, Joe. We're both born in 62. I think we're in a horse race
Well, I
there.
had a birthday before you did, so
Oh, okay. I've
it's
yet to,
just where we are. I
August.
didn't say
August,
how
I'll turn
much older I
64.
was than you, just that I'm older than you.
Yeah,
All
but
right, cool.
your Joe, your mileage may vary.
True.
Have you jumped out of airplanes?
Not on purpose.
But I would say you're the lesser
I'm
man
not
for
going to
it.
hold that one up and say, have you done this, that, and the other thing? Because my attorney said I don't have to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Give him a little hand. Thanks, Roger. Very
Well,
nice. Okay.
it's been a privilege.
Let's go to you guys. Talk to me about questions. Chris Callan, you're first.
Yeah, I'm actually through a client sort of working with an attorney right now, and I don't do this often, and I don't know what's normal. The only time I've ever been involved with an attorney before that is in my divorce, and that was about as smooth as it could go. We had already hashed everything out, and we were just having that person file paperwork. But um, I'm curious what is reasonable in terms of expectation and communication from an attorney relative to the progress on whatever they're tasked with. Because, like, right now, I'm in a quiet title situation, which can be very protracted. And there's certain, steps to that appear to be sort of standard, normal, and there's some time associated with each one of these steps. Um, but we are completely in the dark with respect to where we're at in that process. And there is no end of outreach from escrow, from myself, from the client, etc., that goes completely unanswered. And like literally, we don't even know if this person's alive for weeks at a time, 5, 6, 7 weeks of non-responsiveness to like 12 outreaches. I just don't understand. It's like, where is the customer service? What's normal? Like, it's really frustrating. And so what's your perspective on that?
Boy, do I got an answer for you, Chris. So I actually have a guy that's kind of a sort of a mentee. I'm kind of bringing him along. He's a young kid. He's 29. been out of law school 3 years and stuff like that. And he appears to be open-minded, and he's kind of soaking it up. And one of the pieces of advice I gave him is a critical piece of advice I felt was to every month we get a magazine, the Nevada Lawyer, and at the back of it, they have a bar discipline issues. The state bar, polices itself type of deal. And I told him to read the ethical rules, the Nevada Rules of Professional Conduct. That's the ethical rules by which we're guided by. And the very first three rules, the titles of them are competence, diligence, and communication. 95% of cases that are not involving greed, but 90 to 95% of cases, I would say, of reading this over the years, is when people can complain to the bar and say, hey, my lawyer sucks, that kind of thing. It's there is a mechanism because the bar investigates. As a matter of fact, the bar falls under the Supreme Court in this, and in almost every state too, it's the same. They fall under the Supreme Court, the Nevada Supreme Court. So it's the Nevada Supreme Court that actually issues the attorney discipline brought by the bar. The bar is sort of the plaintiff in the case. And the overwhelming number one complaint, the leading thing that people make ethical complaints to lawyers about, is the violation of, I think it's 1.3, communication. And that's an interesting thing because Joe and I were talking, because I warred with myself, because in the business context, Joe and I had talked about this, about the number one way to succeed in business. And listen up, guys. You guys want to become multimillionaires, whatever the case may be. I mean, some of us are already there. Here's the number one rule, the number one piece of business advice that myself and a mortgage broker learned about, very successful mortgage broker, threw it on my lap, and I said, yeah, you're absolutely true, is return your phone calls. All you have to do is return your phone calls. Every phone call, I mean, especially for you real estate guys, if somebody's calling you, that's a lead. If somebody's calling me, that's a potential client. A potential client is potential money on the hoof. Return your phone calls. I don't have an explanation for you, Chris, as far as, short of a bar complaint.
Chris, let me just jump in here for a second. So you're working with a title company on this, right?
Yeah, I pulled title before, we made the property available, and, we knew that we would have a quiet title proceeding after I did that, and it became clear that we had an issue.
I would talk to the attorney
anyway, but yeah,
I would talk to the attorney at the title company. They've always got between 1 and 50 of them. Explain the situation. And you're a big AI guy. Go to your AI and say, how do I file a consumer complaint with the Washington State Bar Association?
I don't want to piss the guy off, too. I'm not a lawyer
in Washington, but I've talked to the bar a few times.
What's funny is I got the recommendation for this attorney that I gave the client from my title company. I was like, can you give me 3 or 4, attorneys that you recommend to handle this? I passed that info on. He called the first one on the list, hired that guy, and now that guy is he's like a deaf mute. Like there's just
one of the main bar complaints and stuff like that, and it's an ethical rule, is we're obligated to move things along. We're not. It's arguably a violation in the ethical rules. It relates to diligence. We are all as lawyers. We're tasked to move things along.
They have rules. They're supposed to follow stuff just like you guys do. It's the same thing. But it's a good question, Chris. And it's weird that you were referred by another lawyer, but I would investigate the possibility of having the bar do something because, what the bar would typically do, I assume, is they would send this lawyer a letter. And once the lawyer is put on notice by the bar, you probably see some results fairly quickly. That's often how those things go.
It just
Okay.
seems to me if we know it's going to be a protracted thing, rather than us trying to pull info out, just like give us a once a month update.
Yeah.
I know if you got 150
Yeah.
clients, it can be hard to return every phone call, but like show us a pulse and just let us know, hey, this thing's still moving. We have 3 more weeks till we clear this hurdle. I'll get back to you in a month,
Well, Chris, write him a letter basically saying what you said here. We haven't heard from you, this and that. You don't have to threaten the bar thing. We haven't heard from you. We'd like an update on how far this is going to move along. Communicate in writing that, and communicate that you're frustrated.
Yep.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm going to go. I want to
you.
leave time for other people too. Thanks, Roger. Good question, Chris. Who's next? Go ahead, Christine.
I was trying to be polite. Okay, I got a question. I almost just typed it in here, but Roger, I am curious because of a situation a friend of mine's having. When attorneys are communicating with each other over to the plaintiff and the defendant,
What kind of case, real quick?
it's a divorce.
It's a what?
A divorce.
Okay, go ahead.
And it should a client expect to see the emails related? I mean, should the defendant, if her attorney is communicating with the plaintiff, should she expect to see all the emails between the two attorneys? And part 2 of that, and my friend is a little bit cuckoo, so I gotta clarify that, but she is convinced that because she's fired 2 attorneys now and is on to her 3rd, because she is convinced that they are conspiring against her. I don't believe 100% in that, but I'm wondering, is that something that, because those attorneys are supposed to be working together, I'm assuming, like we do with real estate agents. One of us represents the buyer, one of us represents the seller, but we're really trying to bring everybody together to create, a.
But remember, Christine, I talked about the adversarial nature of the law as well.
That's not a tight analogy. The two agents working together to get a deal done, and it's almost the opposite. Get the deal done, get it done expeditiously, you both get paid. Lawyers are kind of just, in some cases, just the opposite. It's kind of one of the reasons I kind of stepped away and retired from the law, is some lawyers are I'm ashamed to say, more than lawyers are a unique situation where they're brought to help put out a fire in a good manner, and a lot of them bring cans of gasoline and throw the gas on the fire. Sad as that is to say. So that it's not a good analogy to think that lawyers are going to show up like 2 real estate agents. Yeah, she could demand those emails. Should she have access to them? It's like communications between the lawyers. All that's going to do is cost her more money, because the lawyer's got to take the time to go through all of that. There's attorney-client privilege issues. That's just
do they conspire though? I mean, do attorneys from 2 different law firms, would you think that they would conspire against a certain, like to go after her individually?
I have your cases, your friend's case. Every case is unique. Every case is unique as the people that are in them. There's no single divorce case that I ever handled that ever looked exactly the same. They're all very, very, they can be very, very different. The gamut can run very wide, but this, I can tell you this. Your friend is navigating through life at a juncture in her life. She's going through a divorce. It's the number 3 life stress or event that can happen to a person. Um, I'm not, you say your friend is, kind of goofy or crazy or whatever the case may be. She's probably at her worst right now. You know what I mean? So, clients thinking logically during this time is pretty rare. A really, really good divorce attorney is half counselor, um,
Yep.
Yeah.
and will,
Agreed.
I'm going to
yeah.
jump in on this one real quick, and then we're going to move to the next one. So I'm going to jump in because I'm a client. I've been through this. Okay. I've been divorced with the whole lawyer deal and the whole thing. Okay. So I'm going to offer
And I'm
you a
sorry.
couple little pieces of advice. It's fine. Um, couple pieces of advice just to consider your situation, your friend. Okay. So you can help her, right? My number one piece of advice is get her in the mindset of the most important thing is to get this done. Okay. And here's why I say that because, again, speaking from the client perspective here, I swear you guys have like a master's degree in law school about how making simple things take way longer than they should. Okay. And the law is full of those things, which the whole time spins the money clock. Okay. So I would encourage your friend to keep her eye on the target. Okay. And the target is get the judge to say, okay. Right. And what happens, at least in Washington, I don't know about Nevada, but when you want to get divorced, you have to stand in front of the judge, and the judge has to make sure in that judge's way that you're totally cool with whatever agreement, whether it's between the parties or with counsel. Okay. And they are pretty rigorous questions. And I've been through this. Okay. The judge wants to make sure that there's no tap backs. Everybody's happy. I'm not going to get into what's fair and what's not. That's beyond the scope of this question. But time equals money when you're a client and you're paying the money. And look, I mean, I had to pay for my ex-wife's lawyer. Okay. I had to support her and her boyfriend she was living with for a year. And her lawyer wanted me to keep writing that check for 6 years, 6 more years. Okay. So I'm saying that because don't be surprised when opposing counsel just throws darts at the wall, so to speak, to see what they can get. Okay. It's very common, and I've talked to a lot of other people about this. That's going through this divorce thing, depending on who the attorneys are. It's not an easy deal, but get to the finish line and get there as soon as you can so you can get on with the rest of your life. That's the client advice. Okay.
Joe, real quick.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of control that the client has to drive that result. There's 5 people at play. Two real quick observations for Kristen. One, and this is just a general rule, of all the areas of law that is ill-suited for litigation, family law is it. The emotions run high. The litigation is probably the worst thing that people could go through in those sort of circumstances. That's why ADR, mediation, arbitration, those kind of things, collaborative law, those kind of things are really flourishing in family law because family law and litigation it's like oil and water. It's not good. The second thing is, and it might be hard to find, this is what area and I'm moving into, and I think it's absolutely probably the best thing your friend could do if she's got money to do it, is to hire a divorce coach. A divorce coach is a person who can, and a lot of divorce coaches are therapists. A lot of them, like me, are lawyers, whatever the case may be. It's the new cutting edge latest thing, and it's the best for your friend. That's the best piece of advice I can give, is she needs a divorce coach to help manage her end of the litigation process.
Give her my
Love
number.
that.
I've been divorced. I'm a lawyer, a therapist, and I can run a financial calculator.
You should be a
love
divorce
that
coach, Joe.
idea.
Right?
Right?
Good
No,
future
I
for
love
you.
that
It's my
idea
new side
because
hustle.
her current counselor's doing her jack shit. And I mean, she goes to him once to twice a week. And I kept telling her yesterday, focus on the end. We're trying to get you to the
Yep.
quit focusing on what he's doing now. It doesn't even matter. You guys are getting a divorce. It doesn't matter that he's cheating on you or whatever's
Yep.
going on. Focus on the end and your well-being and your health and your safety. That's what I
You realize you're your friend's divorce coach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do. I do. But coming from me, she listens to me, but then, it's that we're tight friends, so I'm going to
Tell her
have
to
to get
call
a
me. I'm
second
running
opinion.
a friends and family special. Okay.
Perfect.
All
That's
right.
what we'll do. Thank
Who's
you.
got another question here?
I want to be a
Jeff?
divorce
Go
coach
ahead,
too.
Jeff.
This
Let's get divorced first.
conversation is incredibly timely. Thank you, Joe, for bringing it. Last Friday, I think, I had a knock on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was a process server, and letting us know that we were being sued by a subcontractor that did some drywall work here a couple of years ago, and he had a slip and fall and is suing us. So I wanted to ask Roger, do you have any pointers for what we should expect in this process and how to get?
So this is an employee or of a subcontractor that got hurt on the job vis-a-vis vis-a-vis a subcontractor didn't get paid by a contractor.
I'm not sure.
Usually when I hear about that kind of case, a subcontractor didn't get paid by the contractor. This is where an employee of subcontractor got hurt on the job while working at your place.
Correct. The status of employee is.
Did you hire this person?
We paid him. We did not bring him into the job, but we paid him.
You paid him on the side?
We paid him directly. We did not pay, our contractor did not pay him. We did not pay the contractor. The money did not flow through the contractor.
You paid him on the side.
Okay.
Yes or no?
We wrote checks to him.
That was an adversarial question.
No, I mean, you're being cagey, Jeff, and I get it. Here's the problem with that. Anybody working on a job is covered by workers' compensation laws. Okay. But
Okay.
if you hire some guy to do like handyman work and stuff on the side, they're not covered under that. What you should do is you need to call your insurance agent.
We've done that, and I've already got the complaint over to them, and they have appointed an attorney on our behalf.
Your homeowner's insurance will hire you an attorney. There you go.
Okay.
What does the guy want, Jeff? How much is he asking for?
Oh,
An arm and a leg.
This is what's so frustrating. All it says on the complaint is unlimited, and he's claiming one of the claims is that he can't work yet. So this was almost 2 years ago when he fell, and I think it feels like a money grab to me. It feels like
from where?
Fell
from a ladder inside the house, or fell
no,
from the roof?
It was, he was walking along, walking down the front of the house. The landscape was the lot was just graded, and there was a trench about 2 feet deep, and it was dark, and he stepped into it and he fell.
Did you go to the hospital?
He did. He got x-rayed. He had bruised ribs. And
don't sweat it. Your homeowner's insurance got you covered.
Okay.
If you have good homeowners insurance, which I hope you do, it'll got you covered. It's a little wrinkle. That's what happened. This is a risk you put yourself in when you hire people that are not contractors. Because if he was an employee for a contractor or a subcontractor, then all this would be covered under the Washington Workers' Compensation Law, and there would be no personal injury claim at all.
Jeff's in California.
Same diff.
Yeah. So
Same diff.
my hunch was that this was kind of like an auto insurance claim where these attorneys are going to get together and they're just going to probably settle on an amount.
Well, here's what happened, Jeff. You hired him, so you're the contractor.
Okay.
So you should have had workers' compensation insurance on him. Nobody does that, so
Yeah.
that's why you're getting sued personally. Your
Okay.
homeowner's insurance will cover you.
Okay.
Should cover you.
And if you have any problems besides being a divorce coach, I used to be a bouncer. So I got your back, brother. Okay, we got time for one more. Who's got one more for Roger? Somebody's got to have something. Mercedes or Tien. You look so nice today.
Thank you. Question for Roger. I acquired a new seller, and we were meeting on Zoom to kind of do our sellers to-do checklist before going on market, or actually not Zoom, on Teams. And he asked me to record it. And I mean, there's nothing I would say or do that I would backtrack, because I keep myself pretty clear, and I never claim to be anybody else that I'm not licensed to be. So what's the angle? Should I be thinking about with this guy?
So I take it you're a real estate agent or a broker, and this is this a listing?
Yes.
So you're dealing with the seller, and he wants you to record the Zoom call.
Yeah, it was on Teams.
Did
I
you?
wanted to get the transcript, and he didn't ask for the transcript after. And
Okay, hold on a second. Did you ask him why?
I
Did you
didn't.
say why do you want this recorded?
I didn't. Yeah.
I have no legal advice per se. People that want everything in writing, people that want things recorded, they tend to be they make me wary. they strike me as potentially litigious. That's I'm going to
Let's
leave
think
you
about
to
this, Pian. You're when you enter into a listing agreement, we all, you hope it's as short as possible, but let's just say it's 2 months or whatever. Okay, pick a number. But it's a relationship, and everybody on this call knows there's a certain amount of the client needs to trust their licensed advisor. And so if somebody's staying from the first date, I want this all recorded. Well,
it's a red flag.
Kinda.
Well, question, why didn't you meet them in person? And it's just a question.
Oh yeah, so we've met in person a bunch of times, or a few times, I should say, but the timing was hard, and and this was just like, hey, checklist, here's our to-do. I got your title report, preliminary, read it, questions, call the title company, all of that stuff. So it was just a checklist meeting online. Yeah.
Maybe they just wanted to be able to remember.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what I'm 64. I'm in the
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
That was kind of in the back of my mind, and I agree with Roger. I should have just paused and said why, but I didn't want to seem defensive at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was in the back of my mind. I was like, this is weird. I've never been asked to be recorded, and I also have a memory of a chipmunk, so I'm always writing furiously, and I thought as well.
Wait till you're 64.
Right, 77.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so both of those, like red flag or memory thing. But and I did check afterwards. I did have a transcript. There's nothing on there that I would backtrack. But you're right, it does make me feel a little uneasy. Should I bring it back up? Okay, and like Joe said, we need to have a trusting relationship here. And if
I know I wouldn't, but I'd meet him in person rather than on Zoom. But that's me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that
Mercedes
shift
did
kinda
that
left
when
the
she was
dog,
44
so.
also. We all did. I said Mercedes did that when she was 44. She actually met with the people.
It's-
Okay, let's wrap this up. I'm gonna offer a blanket piece of negotiating advice that applies to Tien's situation. And I think this is appropriate for the situation you're in. I'm gonna talk about negotiation for a minute, okay? And pull this rabbit out of your hat if necessary, okay? So let's remember that the contractual relationship in the state of Washington between the consumer public and licensees is not between the public and the agent. It's between the public and the designated broker. Okay. So if you find yourself in the situation again, you can use a negotiation tactic called higher authority. And it would work something like this. Well, I'd love to be able to record this to you, but that's against our broker's policies. I don't have the authority to record.
That is
Okay.
so brilliant.
And then suddenly there's no more negotiation. It's like the best negotiation tactic ever. It's called higher authority. All right. Okay. Good sesh, guys. Roger Harada, thank you so much for showing up and being part of the group. Appreciate it.
And thank you for having me, Joe. It's been a privilege.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, a couple little housekeeping things. You guys saw these from the email. It's June 12th. I don't know how many we have in June. It's 2 or 3 more, but the next couple are going to just be open email. Anybody can come, whatever. I really appreciate you guys hitting the pay button, desertpencil.com/society. One of the things that's going to happen starting in July, was a couple things happening. One is I'm not going to do the broadcast email anymore. It's only going to go to the people who sign up. All right. You're the only ones that are going to get it. You're the only ones that are going to get access to the full length recordings. I'll still do the Spotify audio for the world to consume. And once this is all set up, I'm just going to take me a couple more weeks for all the other shit I'm doing. But I'm going to give each one of you guest passes that you can share with others to be able to get in if they want to. Okay. I think that the what I'd like to see this become is a nice group of at most about 35 at most. I kind of like that 25 to 35 number. I'm not looking to build this into hundreds of people. You know, this is a learning environment and we're on Zoom, and I know this, and so I'm going to keep it in that box. And if people want to learn more, of course, they can take Desert Pencil, which is the best advice I could ever give someone at 25 is to take Desert Pencil. But that's a shameless plug for another day. Okay. Thanks for showing up. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Very hot here in the Northwest. Sunday and Monday, it's going to be super hot. And Pasco, I think it's going to be like 113. So you guys have that to look forward to.
I am not happy.
You're not. You should be going to Canada this weekend, Christine. Go buy some windows, right?
I'll go buy some windows in Canada this weekend.
Okay.
I'm out.
And I will call you a little bit later today, okay?
So that's
Right,
that Tri-Cities area, Christine?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
We're
know
in
what
the
that
middle
is?
of the desert.
Near Pendleton?
Yeah. About an hour,
Wow,
hour and a half from
113?
Pendleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the home
No.
of Hanford where they stored all the nuclear waste in the 50s. So if you shut off the lights and look down, it's the one place in Washington that glows at night.
You know how many
Okay.
people have asked me because I'm so tall? Is it because I drank the water here? You know, and they're like, "Oh, you growing big out there," you know, kind of thing.
So, no,
Yeah,
I drank
no,
the
it's crazy.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Roger.
All right, that's this week's Desert Pencil webinar. Thanks to Roger for showing up and being our speaker. If you'd like to join us and be a member of the audience for the Desert Pencil webinar, you need to join the Desert Pencil Society. It's just $5 a month, and you can do that at the website desertpencil.com and go to the society link. Thanks.